You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Sternberg Museum of Natural History, also by The Dentist.
Stop! Where are we going?
The Sternberg!
Don't get left behind. We're waiting for you here at the Sternberg Museum, where there's always new opportunities for
Discovery under the dome.
Come discover a one-of-a-kind dental center for the whole family at The Dentist. Dr. Melinda Miner and Dr. Michael Holmberg and their warm and friendly staff love working with children of all ages to help keep everyone smile happy and healthy. They recommend children start seeing the dentist by age 1. The Dentist is now accepting new patients, children, and their families. Visit them at 1010 Downing Avenue in Hayes or online at thedentistinhayes.com.
Hello and welcome to You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. My name is Dana Stanton and I'm the coordinator of Early Childhood Grants for USD 489. And with me today is Linda Beech. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning.
Now, first of all, Linda, tell us what organization you work for and what do you do there?
Well, I am the Extension Agent for Family and Consumer Sciences at the Ellis County Extension Office. And that office is a branch of K-State Research and Extension here in Ellis County. Our office is at 6th and Main, right downtown. And there are 4 agents there who work to extend, that's how we get the name.
Extension, I get it.
Extend information from the experts at Kansas State University and our state and national partners to the people in Ellis County. So
Now,
that's what I do.
That's an awesome job. Now, we've got lots of books here
Yes,
in front
we
of us
do.
today, so we're going to talk about young children's development and how we can help that through reading.
Exactly. You know, I love to read books and I read books with my children, but what we know is that that reading to children and reading with children really does spur their development. And I brought a new publication from our K-State family development specialist that talks about how we can be intentional about reading with kids. You know, emergent literacy, that's the title of this, is the skills and the knowledge we need to be able to read and to be able to move that information into the larger world. And by reading with kids, we're not only just reading a story, but we're learning language and we're learning skills and we're learning about topics in the world that we need to know about. So there's some great information that I thought we could share today to talk about how that can happen with parents and their children.
Now, one of the terms that you had sent to me and talked to me about was scaffolding, and scaffolding to support a child's mental and language development. What is that?
Well, you think of a scaffold in construction. You know, it's a temporary support structure that's there to help do the job until the construction project is done. Well, scaffolding, when we're reading with kids, works the same way. It's information and approaches that we can use to try to stimulate kids' thinking. So they talk about 6 approaches with scaffolding, and the first one is questioning, asking questions. And as children are little, you know, we can ask, what color is that puppy, and where is the house, and who lives there, and those sorts of things. But then we can ask, what do you think they're going to do? What's going to happen
How
next?
does he feel?
Well, yeah, why did he make that choice? So asking questions is one part of the scaffolding. Explaining or instructing is another. So if children don't understand something that you are encountering in your story, it's new information to them, taking just a moment to say, this is what this means, is a great step to help kids get more out of the book. Modeling. That can be something just as funny as acting like the duck in the story and flapping your wings, to moving into the kitchen to bake something after you read a story that had to do with food. So that's a third step. Feedback is step number 4 in scaffolding, and that's where you say, oh, you remembered. Last time you didn't know what they were going to do, or what's next in the story? See, I knew you were listening. Things like that give kids the encouragement to stay into the story and to get interested. Maintaining focus. How many of you tried to read to a kid who's squirming
All over the
the
place,
couch
yeah.
and ready to get down? And so that's okay. That's an easy way with parents is to say, well, let's just read to the bottom of this page and then we'll be done and we'll start the story again another time. On giving kids some cues that it's okay to move on, to come back to the story. And finally, structuring, which is sort of laying out the lay of the land. We're going to read this story about making bread, and then we're going to go in the kitchen and try it ourselves. So let's figure out what we need to know first, and then we'll go do it. So 6 steps to scaffolding that can really help build the learning experience that comes with that story.
Now, a lot of those have to do with early literacy. And of course, we know that reading books is going to help a child's early literacy. Are there other things, other advantages, other things that might come about from reading with your child?
Well, the other thing that I think is really fun is that in the world of children's books, there are so many additional topics that come in through the story. For example, financial literacy, learning about money is something that children can start at a very young age. And so I brought 3 books here today. Pigs Will Be Pigs, Alexander, Who Used to Be Rich Last Sunday, Trouble with Money. So while you're enjoying a great...
Alexander, who used to be rich last Sunday. That
That's
could
a
be
great
Dana, who used
story.
to be rich. Okay, go ahead.
Great story that have some financial concepts. So kids can start to learn about managing their money and how people spend, and sometimes that they make mistakes and those sorts of things. Then I also think that you can get some great health and nutrition and food related skills from books. You know, my daughter was a picky eater, and so DW the Picky Eater was a favorite at our house as we were talking about being surprised at how good something tastes that we were pretty sure we were never going to try. And I've got a great selection of books here that have to do with different kinds of baking activities. So the Little Red Hen makes a pizza.
Oh.
We're done with bread.
Bread,
now we're
she's
moving
done
on
with
to
bread,
pizza.
all right.
Yep. This is about strawberry shortcake, pancakes, pretzels. Great fun stories that have a plot, but they also then lead to a nutrition lesson, and you can go into the kitchen and work together to make that pizza and handle the dough.
Just like the Little Red Hen
Exactly.
did.
Yes, and remember, what did the Little Red Hen have to put in this? Yeah, you know, we're going to start with the flour
same
too.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this is all great information, wonderful information for parents. Say they have more questions about all that we've talked about today. Who do they contact, or is there a website or something like that?
Well, you know, there are several things that we can offer at the Ellis County Extension Office, and I just want to mention a couple of those. Coming up in October, we are doing a program called Money on the Bookshelf, which is going to talk about using these children's books to teach money concepts. And did you know there's a list of 17 things that every 5-year-old should know about money?
There's probably those adults should probably know those 17
We're
things too.
assuming the adults do,
Yeah.
but we're going to talk about some of those kinds of things. So that's a program from the Ellis County Extension Office coming up in October. We also go to the Hayes Public Library on the first Wednesday of every month at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we do Extension Reading, Food, and Fun. And we start with these storybooks that have a food connection, and then we do a food activity. We either make something, or we taste something, or we work together to cook something. And so there's lots of great ideas about that. There are even ways that you can find additional lists of books that are on the topic that you want to read about. You know, our extension office has some of those. Ask your early childhood educator or your child's teacher or the library that you like to use. And most of all, we just want parents to read
with
their
their child.
kids.
You know, that's one of the studies that I have seen say the most important thing for success in reading is that early reading, the shared reading, parents reading with their children. Now, if people want to ask you some questions, what's your phone number at work?
Okay, we're down at 6th and Main in downtown Hayes, and our phone number is 628-9430. And we'll be glad to help connect you with information about emergent literacy and some of the great books on some of the topics that I brought with me today.
Wonderful, wonderful information. Thank you, Linda.
Oh, my pleasure.
You've been watching You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. Parents, remember, you are your child's first and best teacher. Thank you.
You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Sternberg Museum of Natural History, also by The Dentist.